Punk. I feel like punk is a mindset. So realistically, I've been doing it since birth. But as far as like the DIY scene goes, I think it's important to have somewhere where, like my friend was saying, somewhere where people can express themselves freely without feeling like they're judged or amongst their peers. And a lot of really good bands get their start amongst DIY scenes. Like Rome wasn't built in a day, so it's important to have those platforms, if you will, that people can get their start and find their voice, find their style of music, find a way to even just express themselves. Sometimes some people don't remain musicians, but those people inspire other musicians, et cetera, et cetera. And something that I read once from a friend's profile a long time ago that always stuck with me, I'm in a band as well, was respect those that came before you and you will inspire those that come after you. And that just resonates with me so much amongst the DIY punk community, etc.
So you said you've kind of been a punk since birth. I don't know if you said how long you've been.
Oh, so realistically, I'm born in South America. I came here in 1999, April 23rd, and I didn't start. Well, I was like 6 years old when I came here. I didn't start going to DIY shows until I was like 17, probably. I was a late bloomer. I know people that have started since 12, just like going to like straight edge punk shows and like playing at 14. Like I didn't start my band
What
till I
drew
was
you
17.
towards punks? Like, is it kind of a
Rebelling and freedom of like true freedom of speech. Like I could get up there and just be like, "Fuck you." I don't know. You know. I mean, I won't go into it. You get the point. You get to
Yeah.
go express yourself. And shit, it feels like people don't listen. But when you have that mic in your hand and you got your friends backing you up on instruments and you got your friends cheering you on in front of you, fuck. If there's this, nothing makes you feel more alive. It's so important. It makes you feel human. Like, and I feel like that can be brought outside of shows too. Like, that teaches you how to communicate with people and learning that people are listening.
I don't know.
When you hear somebody say your lyrics back to you, oh God, it
Yeah.
feels so beautiful.
So I know for some people it might not be for you, but for some people, I moved around my whole life. I don't have much of a culture or community or
Rooted.
home, so punk has kind of always been that for me. Would you relate to that?
Yes, absolutely. Every time, like, I would say when we're like doing shows outside of state, out of state, the DIY communities, they're very similar in certain aspects. And so like I'll go to Chicago and hang out with my punk friends out there and feel like I'm here in, well, I live in DC now, so I feel like I'm in DC. I come to Richmond and my homies are here. Like it's so it feels like a giant commune that just has different legs spread all across the world. And so we all relate, we can all, you know, it's always fuck the cops. Like we have similar values amongst DIY communities, and yeah, it feels like you're home.
It's
There's
crazy
pockets.
how sometimes there's punks in countries that are extremely oppressive, but like they act and look just like us, but they're really fighting, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm from South America, Ecuador. Right now, the indigenous people are fighting against the government, and it happens all over the world. But yeah, it's I wouldn't say nice, but it's like just an observation, seeing like people here like fighting through like social media, and then in South America you got people like really outside of the door of a government official, like throwing rocks at their fucking house, like, you know, like there's different levels to it, but it's similar. Like we all meet somewhere, you know, we all like have the same goal, if you will.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a little stretch, but
Well,
there is, like,
I think it's
correlations
always
to
like
it.
people sometimes tell you to shut up about your problems because there's people starving in Africa, and that's kind of why it's everything is important, and we should fight for what we can so that we can so that eventually we can help others
Yeah.
too.
What I really like too about these DIY communities is that they, a lot of the times they focus on what's immediate to, you know, you locally, to what affects you immediately. So it's like, hey, there's no shows going on. You start doing shows, people start gaining interest. Then you realize there's a cost, a local cost. Like let's say somebody's house got set on fire. Then you do a benefit show, and then you build this community, like this, people helping each other. It's like it's like a GoFundMe before GoFundMe was even a thing. People were already doing this amongst DIY communities, just helping each other. Like, hey, so and so, their car broke down, and you know, cool, we'll help you get to the show. Like it's always been like, hey, I don't have a cab. We need a mic for this show tonight. Like, cool, I got one. I'll let you borrow it. It's like, those old values are still instilled among certain communities. Like, I don't have sugar. I'm gonna go to my neighbor and ask for some sugar. Yeah, I got you, neighbor.